Throughout history, the United States military has stood at the center of global attention, often shaping the course of world events. Its actions, decisions, and moments of bravery have at times shocked the world, not only for their scale and impact, but also for their demonstration of determination, resilience, and a belief in freedom. When reflecting on the moments that stunned global audiences, it is important to recognize the positive influence many of these events carried. They often showcased not only the strength of the U.S. military, but also the courage, discipline, and compassion of the men and women who serve. One of the earliest and most defining moments came during World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the U.S. military was thrust into a conflict of unprecedented scale. What shocked the world was not just the devastation of Pearl Harbor, but the rapid transformation of the American armed forces into a global power that would play the decisive role in defeating tyranny. The D-Day landings in Normandy in June 1944 remain one of the most astounding operations in history. The bravery of U.S. troops storming fortified beaches under heavy fire symbolized the unbreakable will to liberate Europe from Nazi rule. Millions around the world watched as the tide of the war turned, and the United States demonstrated its ability to mobilize, lead, and execute a mission that paved the way for peace and freedom. This moment shocked the world, not by destruction, but by the sheer courage and determination to restore justice. Another defining chapter came during the Cold War. The Berlin Airlift 1948-1949 is often remembered as a humanitarian victory that left the world in awe. When the Soviet Union attempted to blockade West Berlin, cutting off supplies to over 2 million people, the U.S. military launched a daring and sustained air operation. For nearly a year, American planes delivered food, fuel, and essentials daily, proving not only logistical brilliance, but also a commitment to freedom and compassion. The sight of U.S. aircraft dropping candy for German children, known as Operation Little Victuals, became a symbol of hope. What shocked many observers at the time was the positive power of military action used not for conquest, but for rescue, relief, and inspiration. The Korean War also brought moments of astonishment. The Inchon Landing in 1950, led by General Douglas MacArthur, was a bold amphibious operation that completely changed the course of the war. Against great odds, U.S. forces carried out a surprise landing that cut off enemy supply lines and shifted momentum in favor of United Nations troops. The success of this maneuver shocked both allies and adversaries, highlighting the ingenuity and daring nature of the American military. It reinforced the belief that even in the most difficult circumstances, decisive and courageous action could make a difference in the fight for freedom. In Vietnam, while the war itself was deeply controversial, moments of extraordinary bravery and sacrifice still resonated around the globe. The evacuation of Saigon in 1975, particularly Operation Frequent Wind, stunned the world as U.S. helicopters lifted thousands of civilians and South Vietnamese allies out of danger during the fall of the city. Although it marked the end of U.S. involvement, the dedication of service members who risked everything to save lives left an enduring impression of compassion and loyalty. Even in the face of adversity, the U.S. military showed its determination to protect those who depended on it. Fast forward to the Gulf War in 1991. The world once again watched in shock and awe as U.S. forces demonstrated unprecedented military precision and technological superiority. Operation Desert Storm unfolded with a speed and efficiency that stunned adversaries and allies alike. The use of advanced technology, including stealth aircraft and smart munitions, marked a new era in modern warfare. The swift liberation of Kuwait highlighted America's commitment to international law and the defense of a sovereign nation under threat. For many, it was a moment that showcased not just raw power, but also the ability of the United States to lead a coalition in restoring stability. Perhaps one of the most unifying and emotional moments came after the tragic attacks on September 11th. 2001, the immediate response of the U.S. military, combined with the courage of first responders at home, sent a powerful message to the world. Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan began as a campaign to dismantle terrorist networks, but it also revealed the determination of the United States to defend not only its own citizens, but also the broader ideals of freedom and security. The image of American service members delivering aid, building schools, and assisting communities in Afghanistan shocked many who expected only combat. It showed that military strength could be paired with humanitarian effort, extending a hand of support even in conflict zones. Another shocking and inspirational moment came during the mission that brought an end to Osama bin Laden's presence in 2011. Carried out by U.S. Navy SEALs, the operation was marked by secrecy, precision, and flawless execution. The world was astonished by the ability of American Special Operations Forces to carry out such a daring raid deep inside hostile territory. Beyond the tactical brilliance, the mission symbolized justice and closure for countless people who had been affected by global terrorism. It reinforced the reputation of the U.S. military as an organization capable of achieving the seemingly impossible. Humanitarian missions have also provided moments that shocked the world in the most positive ways. U.S. military forces have often been the first to respond to natural disasters across the globe. From the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami to the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, their ability to mobilize aircraft carriers, helicopters, and personnel to deliver food, medical aid, and rescue operations demonstrated a side of military power rooted in compassion and service to humanity. The sight of U.S. soldiers handing out water, rescuing survivors, and rebuilding communities reminded the world that the American military is not just a force of war, but also a force for good. Today, moments that shock the world often come not only from combat operations, but from innovation and leadership in global security. From peacekeeping missions to supporting allies in deterring aggression, the U.S. military continues to play a central role in maintaining stability. The development of cyber capabilities, space defense, and advanced defense systems reflects a forward-looking vision that keeps the world watching in amazement. What unites all these moments is not just the strength of the American military, but the values behind its actions. Whether storming the beaches of Normandy, feeding children in Berlin, or rescuing earthquake victims in Haiti, the U.S. military has repeatedly shocked the world by pairing power with principle. Its greatest moments have not simply been victories in battle, but the demonstrations of humanity, bravery, and a willingness to act when the world needs it most. The legacy of these moments is lasting. They remind the world that while the tools of the military are formidable, their ultimate purpose can be noble, from liberating oppressed peoples to providing humanitarian relief. The American armed forces continue to inspire not merely for their strength, but for their dedication to justice, compassion, and the pursuit of peace. In TSNC, the U.S. military has shocked the world, time and again, not just by what it can do, but by what it chooses to do in the service of humanity.